After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Sound Art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it Sound Art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound Art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
Exactly 609 miles almost directly south of Tony Stewart's Eldora Speedway, Georgia's Lanier Raceplex former dirt iteration is forever immortalized on the iRacing.com simulator. A 3/8 mile high banked oval literally just across the street from Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta that you can see in the distance, kind of. Lanier Raceplex is home to the BRP iRacing Series 4th race of 2021, bringing us to yet another Mixing Bowl bull ring for big block action. Welcome race fans to PitStop TV. Joe Donahue joins me virtually on the mic this evening. Trey Shuttlesworth is on social media coverage. My name is Andrew Cardinale IV, and this is PitStop TV's live coverage of the BRP iRacing Series. Thank you for tuning in across our multiple platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. We know there's plenty of places you can watch iRacing action, especially this evening. We thank you for doing so here. We head down south to the Peach State for our third consecutive race on the channel in the state of Georgia. It's the BRP iRacing Series Big Block Modified Tour at Lanier. Joe Donahue, it's been great having you join us last week and this week. I want to thank Trey Patton, of course, off the mic for what he's done for us on the mic the previous 2 races before that. It's been a blast to get this BRP iRacing Series started, and bringing it to Lanier tonight is going to be a lot of fun. You can see, even from this aerial shot, this place is already really slick, top to bottom. It's going to be a challenging one for these guys this evening. Lanier is so fast because unlike some really short racetracks, like for example, even Fairbury, of course, you could throw Tulsa in there, but Kokomo, for example, Joe, this place is really high banked, a lot like Lima Land from a couple of weeks ago. So it really gets these guys moving really quickly. And we're even, well, what just blows me away about this racetrack is the way that even when it slicks way off, the first line to slick off is always the bottom, but the bottom ends up being fast again once the entire racetrack completely slicks off. And then you actually have kind of 2 separate cushions, if you will. You don't really get a cushion down on the bottom, but you can see where cars push the excess dirt up into the middle groove again. It's insane how it works here.
Yeah, so that's just a result of all of the weight of the car pushing into that dirt and slicking it over, and then, like you said, it does work itself up the track as you go. And these guys are going to search as long as they can to find the little spots where they're not quite slicked out yet as they run through their stints of heats and consolations and then the main race itself. So it's going to be fun to watch them find where the grip really is up until that point where obviously then we slick it out and just have to go for it with what we get. And that will be a cool part of the race as well, because that kind of brings more of the driver's skill into effect. And once the track is slicked out, it should be a pretty interesting race to see who's going to be able to put sliders in and who's going to use up as much as they can of what's left of the racetrack to actually put something together.
And of course, we are getting into qualifying here now, and already time's going up on the board. AJ Albretta to the top, Mike Wenner in the second. Wow, and it's changing up so quickly. Ryan Susi, he's up there. Dylan Davidson, Cody Higby in the mix.
Yeah, so for the moment, AJ Albretta has the fastest lap time. I think we're waiting on 4 more people to put in their first lap, and then we'll see if anybody else is going to throw up another second lap. These drivers are going to get 2 laps timed to see what their best of the 2 is, and then they will take that first better time of the lap to coordinate themselves into their respective heat races for the night. They actually just got the last 2 guys to put in their first lap, so we're going to wait a second to make sure the last lap of the 2 is completed by everybody on course, and then we should have a complete and steady order, but at least everybody's put in their first lap so far.
Everybody getting some laps, and you see just over a minute left. And while qualifying wraps up here, Joe, let's take a look down the point standings for tonight. You see Kevin Hebert moves up to the top, only 3 points ahead of Ryan Susi. Then Travis Miller, Cody Higby, AJ Albretta make up the top 10.
Yeah, so as you can see, the rest of the top 10 all the way down, the 3 guys who got wins. I think it's really interesting to point out that first place obviously did get a win. Kevin Hebert has a victory to his name, but Thomas Richard and Maxime Plant, the 2 other drivers to win races, and especially Maxime Plant down in 8th place. I mean, there's a lot of guys in between first place in the standings and those cars themselves. So I think that really speaks a lot for how well these BRP guys race with each other. and how much competition they really have week in, week out when they go to these races. We saw a lot of really great action on track last week at Eldora. I was fortunate to be a part of that broadcast and see some really cool stuff while we were there. And we come here with a lot of momentum and a lot of exciting action off of that event. It should be a pretty good race here at Lanier. I've been watching some practice sessions that these guys have put together leading up to this event. It seems like, for the most part, the high line is going to be where most of these guys want to run, but that obviously will change throughout the course of the night. It's going to be interesting to see the way that they change their grooves and what they're doing out on track as they go through these heat races and into the features.
So going right into heat number 1. Remember, we get a few chances at these heat races. We get 4 to be exact. We move 4 drivers on from each heat race. AJ Albretta going to start from the pole position, our fastest qualifier of all cars to take a time. Mike Winter's going to start to his outside. In row number 2, it's going to be Cody Higbee in the number 97, then Brett Haas on the outside of row number 2. Rolling off 5th place here in heat number 1, going to be Ryan Beagle, then it's Tyler Pachalski rolling off 6th, Randy the Big Show Giroux in 7th, Hunter Holberg, Double H, rolling off from 8th, with Matt DeRitter rolling off from 9th.
Yeah, they're just getting them lined up right now. They're going through a little bit of the pre-race race control type stuff over the voice chat right now, just getting ready. They're going to come past one more lap to go before we see the green flag drop for these guys. 8 laps in this first feature. We're going to be bringing 4 cars straight into the A main, and then the rest of them are going to be sent to consolations to try to get a second chance into the feature for tonight's race.
Yeah, so again, 4 drivers going to move on this evening. Well, from each heat race. That gives us 16, then we have 2 consolations. Those take 5 each, and as we come out of turn number 4, we light these things up, and AJ Albretta already going to have trouble there from Mike Winter. He hung on the outside for just a moment. Now Mike Winter falls back a little bit, gets into that second spot. Higbee working the bottom, and you're going to see everybody wants to bottom feed here at Lanier early, but it's going to change throughout the course of the night.
Yeah, you're going to want to watch that over the course of the night slowly work its way up to the top side, and then once the track slicks in, it should be mostly top side running for the faster cars, at least, to see people start diving as, oh, that's contact in the middle of the field right there. I think it was Pachalski that got into it a little bit. Everything seemed to work itself out pretty nicely. Still looking at the front end of the field. Wenner trying to chase down Albretta. Doesn't necessarily have to win this to get into the A main, but certainly wants to get around that 22 car. So we're going to continue running here. We're on lap 5 now of 8. Albretta's got your lead. Higbee's going to try to put a little bit of pressure on Wenner right now to the outside in 3 and 4. Not going to get it off of the momentum that time. This is a battle for second place on your screen right now. Brett Haas holding on to that final transfer spot. He does have a little bit of trouble with Ryan Beagle hanging on to him as they go through 3 and 4, but on your screen, 2nd and 3rd are side by side. Wenner and Higbee. Now Higbee's going to run some momentum up top around the outside of the 23. He got it into the corner. Albretta, the guy you're riding along with here as we come past the stripe again. That 22 car is going to lead us past the white flag, so we're going to get one more lap around this facility. Higbee has a nice run over Wenner down the backstretch. No trouble from him. AJ Albretta, no trouble up front. That's going to be your Heat 1 winner for this race. And actually, Ryan Beagle did pull off a late run pass to get around the 55 of Brett Haas. And he's going to move his number 84 straight into the A main. Brett Haas going to lead the charge with Pachalski, DeRitter, and others going into consolation races for their attempt to get into tonight's A main. So while we wait, we're going to pull up the starting grid for you. You can see on the inside of row number 1, the pole sitter for heat number 2 is going to be Maxime Plant, last time's winner. Ryan Susi got a top 3 at that event in Eldora. He'll be starting to his outside in the 38 machine. Starting in 3rd place is going to be Kevin Hebert, and to his outside will be the number 300 on the timing screen, but the number 3 on track is Thomas Richard. Row number 3 on the inside is Gavin Eisel in the 18. On the outside will be the 3 of Adam Hilton. So both of the 3 cars going to be in this heat race tonight. The Beef, Corby Daniels, starting on the inside of row number 4. And his outside is going to be Richard Pereira in the number 96. And that is your lineup for heat number 2. You see 1 to go here at the stripe. Maxime Plant is on the inside in that white, black, and orange, number 79. His outside's got Ryan Susi with that red and black number 38. You look behind them, you see the teammate to the lead car, or the inside lead car, Kevin Hebert in the 71. And to his outside, that number 3, Thomas Richard, a little bit of purple on that white machine. They come out of turn number 4. The green flag flies. A little bit of pressure from Hebert on Maxime Plant to get that start rolling. As they get through turns 1 and 2 safely, looks like a little bit of a run from Susi around the top side. They're 3 wide for third place, and Hebert didn't quite get the inside line very squared away. They're 3 wide down the front stretch, still fighting for that final transfer spot. A contact. It looked like Hilton almost went the whole way around. I think he saved that car, and now it's a little squirrely in the middle of the corners. Your leader has absolutely gapped Maxime Plant now. Ryan Susi has no trouble behind him. Plant, then Richard. That's the top 3. As I say it, watch the 18 go down the inside of Richard. That's Gavin Eisel looking again, maybe. Couldn't get the momentum off the bottom side. Richard still holds on. This is a fight for third place on the racetrack, which means it is a fight to stay out of the bubble spot, that last place that's going to advance straight into your A main. And I would want to be in third place instead of fourth place, as does Gavin Eisel, as he's got Ferreira on his outside, giving him some pressure. Didn't get there this time. Hebert, one looking from the outside in to be watching right now. Hebert was very strong at Eldora last week. Almost won that race, but didn't quite get there at the end. I think he's going to be trying to charge forward right now, as he does get down the inside of the 18 machine. So we've got a new fourth place car as Pereira's looking to the way bottom. Maybe going to try to slide up the racetrack. Hebert's still holding on. No trouble that time. We come past to get the 2 to go, and we'll have a lap and a half from here. Hebert holding on to fourth place. You see him on your screen. Pereira slides to the top side. A little bit of pressure on his inside from the 18 car, as there's going to be maybe a slide job from Gavin Eisel. Not this time. Eisel's pretty far out from now, and these two fighting each other has allowed Kevin Hebert to gap them. And as they come to the line this time, Ryan Susi wins heat number 2 for tonight's race. Maxime Plant going to be taking home the second spot. Thomas Richard in third place, and your final transfer is going to be that 71 of Kevin Hebert. No trouble for him. Richard Pereira, my apologies, is going to be leading the way into consolations from heat number 2. And as I say it, quick turnaround for you guys tonight here on PitStop TV. We're going to bring up the starting order for heat number 3. Michael Hackett driving the number 84. You see it as 484 on timing and scoring, going to be leading us to the green flag with Double D, Dylan Davidson, and 73 on his outside of row number 1. Throw it back to row number 2. Starting on the inside is going to be the number 49 of Dean Metzler, and his outside will be Dan Sider in that 84 machine. We go 1 row further back, and on the inside is going to be the 22 of Travis Miller, the yellow car that you will see in this event. To his outside will be the 35G of Brandon Gruhl. As you see on your scoring, those two are on row number 3. And the final row in this group is going to be the 68, David DiPetro on the inside, and the 60, Brian Berger on the outside. That will be your lineup for the third of 4 heat races. So this is actually the third of 3 heat races. I've been updated by timing and scoring. The 4th heat race will not be occurring in this broadcast. So this is the final heat race of the evening. The inside line up at the front, Michael Hackett. Going to be watching to see him as they come through 3 and 4. This time, the green flag going to be waving, and we're racing out of turn number 4, down the front stretch into turn number 1. The 84 on the inside slides up, blocking the top side. That's the way you want to go. Double D is going to try to see if he can slide back down the inside. Hackett protecting the top line for the moment, and he leads lap 1 of 8. You can see they're starting to work in a nice groove. Oh, that's contact right there. Double D and Metzler got into each other, and they get into each other again. Metzler goes around in the middle of the corner. gets it squared away. I think we're going to stay green this time. Travis Miller has absolutely gunned his way up into second place as we're watching the 35G get up into the wall. Gruel, that was a wheelie and a half down the back straight, but he's all over the place and unfortunately going to be falling off the tail of that group. Back up to the front is Michael Hackett, easily leading Travis Miller for the moment. Not a lot of pressure at that spot or at the transfer position. A slide job went down from Travis Miller. Didn't quite get it to work off that one. He's going to try the over-under cross move in 1 and 2 for the race lead. No trouble there. He gets the slider through 3 and 4. And Michael Hackett's going to slide back down the inside. Those two are going to go at it with each other for the race lead right now. But Sider in third, no trouble. Can't say the same for Double D in fourth place. He's got DePetro on his inside. And Berger stalking him quietly on the top side. We come past the line, 2 to go. 2 more laps for Davidson to try to hold these two number 60 machines off. DePetro down low in the 68. Tried to get side by side. Didn't quite work. They come through 3 and 4. 1 lap to go. 1 lap for DePetro and Berger to try to make a chance on Double D right here. Through 1 and 2. Travis Miller made the pass back for the race lead, but they're still going at it with each other. Berger slipped off a little bit in the middle of the backstretch. DePetro going to try to slide it in as far as he can go. Contact made. DePetro sends Dave Double D spinning and flipping down the front stretch. And the 68 car is going to get that final transfer position. Dylan Davidson was trying to run as quickly as he could on the top side. DePetro tried to block a little bit, slide up in his way, and get into that spot. So what we actually have here as we complete that heat is we did pull everybody who started tonight's heat races straight into the main. No consolation needed. 24 cars going to it.
And I'll rejoin you here. I do want to apologize. We're having issues with Facebook. It should be going up now. Kind of inexplicable, there we go, the way Facebook works sometimes. Before we go into our heat race lineup, I want to thank our partners with the BRP iRacing series. Of course, Bicknell Racing Products, Rifle Powder Coatings and Sandblasting, Matt Ritter Designs, Butt Kicker, Jam Performance, and Miller's Auto Detailing, and of course that deserves some mention for our partners here at PitStop TV as well. Sound Art of Tucson, Race Pace, Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, and Whiplash Media. Again, apologies for the Facebook situation. Not much we can do there. Sometimes we are at the hands of technology. Going into our feature race very quickly tonight, bit ahead of schedule with a fewer entries. Adri Albretta going to roll off from pole in what's scored as the 0-2-2, displayed as a 2-2. Then it's Ryan Susi second place. Third is going to be Travis Miller, then Cody Higbee in fourth. Maxime Plant rolling off fifth, then Michael Hackett. Mike Wenner in seventh. Thomas Richard in eighth. Dan Sider starting ninth. Ryan Beagle 10th. We're going to keep going here, Joe. Then it's Kevin Hebert. Then we've got, 12th place is going to be David DiPietro, Brett Haas, Richard Pereira, Brandon Gruel, Tyler Pachalski, Gavin Eisel, starting from the 17th position. Then it's Brian Berger and Matt DeRitter, Corby Daniels. See the rest of the starting grid on the bottom of your screen, and we are already going green. It happens that quick here at Lanier. So out of turn number 4, the rest of the starting grid goes across, and Hunter Holberg brings in the final starting spot. Already green, 3 wide. You see Albretta getting away. Oh, very slow car on the bottom. That was Maxime Plant. Travis Miller gets through third, tries to slide job Cody Higbee, and Albretta holds on to the lead for now, but Susi's coming.
Susi's running that top side, and you can see the dirt up there. He's going to try to rip a cushion and try to get some speed down the straightaway. Catch back up to Albretta up top. You see Higbee going around the top side of Travis Miller. They're 3 wide for third place right there, as Albretta's got no trouble from Susi this time around. Actually goes fastest and sets the quickest lap of the race so far, as Susi's got a little bit of pressure from Higbee down the backstretch. Miller side by side with Maxime Plant through 3 and 4, but we're watching Higbee right now try to stalk slowly and get past up that 38 machine.
That was a very clean start for 25 cars and a 3/8 mile here at Lanier. You see the jamboree happening back here for about 6th, 7th spot. Maxime Plant working the bottom of 4th, and he's going to get clear of Travis Miller for 5th. Mike Wenner now working the very bottom side. You see the track slicking up like I said it would. The 84 the top side, that's going to be Michael Hackett way up there. Now 3 wide goes Hebert down to the bottom side. Your points leader with that is Thomas Richard right in the middle. Oh my gosh, that 3T was so quick 1 week ago.
Yeah, he really was fast last week, and he did kind of have to start from the back and push his way back up through, so it's possible we could see it again, but I'm watching this 84 right in front of him. Michael Hackett is absolutely on a tear right now. We saw it in his heat race. He was flying, and in fact, again, in this main, he seems to be really on it right now. Obviously, there's a couple cars in front of him that he's got in front of him that he's got to worry about, and obviously Hebert down low too, but for the moment, I'm watching this 84 car, and I'm liking what I'm seeing as he gets the door slammed on him down the front stretch.
Everything's so tight on corner exit here at Lanier. AJ Albretta still leading the way. Ryan Susi second. Cody Higbee third, working the top. The first battle on the racetrack is actually Maxime Plant and Mike Wenner down to the bottom. Wenner's really starting to surprise here tonight. He's up to P5, and he's got a lot of speed in that black and yellow 33, and maybe a pass up front. They're side by side in the corners, and Susi's getting massive runs down the straightaways. Susi's about to take this race lead on the top side, and if you know Lanier here on iRacing, that's not usually how that goes. Usually bottom feeding here at Lanier, but right now with the way the track is worn in, the top side suddenly the way to go. It's hard to get the top side to work here at Lanier, but if you can do it, oh boy does it pay off.
Yeah, the practice sessions that I came in for throughout the week and saw these guys practicing for this event, they were all running up top, trying to get it down. They wanted to be able to run up there as long as possible and be able to set their car in a really good spot to get momentum down the straightaways. Obviously, Ryan Susi used that to his advantage, and Higbee's trying to do the same right now as Albreda reserves himself back to the bottom side, and the 97 trying to pull a little bit of speed on the bottom to stay in front of Higbee, but for the time being, you see he comes back up the track and thought better of it. Plant now up into fourth place and right on the tail of this four-car battle through the corner, and they're single file past the stripe again. Already almost 15 laps into this race, you can see how much of the track has been used up and how slick it's starting to get. That cushion up at the top's really going to start being important, as is that small amount of space that you can still get grip down on the bottom.
Working lap 15 of 50, getting this thing knocked out quick. The limiting factor here at Lanier to the bottom side, even though it's usually quickest, is you are putting the left side of the race car down on that flat, right against that inside wall. The nice thing about Lanier, and what makes the top side really nice if you can work it in just right like they are now, is, of course, you've got all that banking up there to work with. It just carries so much momentum around this little 3/8 mile speedway that it is absolutely the king if the track works in correctly, and you see the entire field trying to work it in now. Most of the field being pretty successful at doing so. The first side-by-side battle back here with Gruel, Giroux, and who's that on the bottom? That is Eisel. Now Pachalski gets into it. 3 wide out of turn 2.
Pachalski pulling into the spot that we saw that 35G the last time around, and now the outside line seems to be the place to be. Eisel, though, going to slide up from the bottom, and I think the bottom side's holding on to a little bit more grip than the top would be right now, because everybody seems to be running from the front end to the tail end of the field. Everybody seems to be up on the top side of this racetrack. You see Eisel down there is one of the few, if not the only car you're actually seeing running down to the bottom, and as I say that, the car we're on board with obviously wants to prove me wrong. We go back to check in on the race leaders. Michael Wenner getting a couple passes from cars around him, Richard, Hebert, etc., but Wenner's still got a really fast car, and you see him venturing down to the bottom. I think being able to go down there quicker is better for you, and it'll give you some advantage when the track starts to work in more and more, and the topside stops being the great place to be that it currently seems to be benefiting those guys up in the top 4 places, just absolutely gapping Kevin Hebert right now.
And you're seeing what I was starting to talk about, Joe, where they're starting to kick up dirt into almost like a middle cushion through the racetrack. It's not a cushion at all, but it does kick up that excess dirt. You see kind of marbles almost like you would see the pavement track, where there's just loose dirt that gets kicked up into the middle groove. And even though it is just a simulator, it's a bunch of ones and zeros, it's a bunch of pixels. If we get a restart and these guys have to drive through that, it's going to reduce some grip. It's going to throw some challenges these guys' way. So they've got to be careful on restarts if we get we're already approaching halfway here, Joe. Green the entire way. We're starting to see some mix-ups here, and these guys are starting to run all across the racetrack, searching for grip. They try to enter low, but you've got to try and float that throttle down there with less banking. You've got to try and run the flat with the left front. It's so difficult to do that if you overdrive it by the slightest amount when it's slick, you're in the middle of the racetrack whether you like it or not.
Yeah, and I think another really great point about that, especially here at Lanier, is it's the same sort of aspect that you'd get on, say, a mile or mile and a half track where there's banking and then there's...
Oh, and a caution comes out.
as I say it, we have a yellow, and I'll get to it later and explain fully more what I mean. But we have a replay here, hopefully, that will show you why we've got our first caution of the race already halfway through it, though.
This is going to be Adam Hilton and Dylan Davidson. We're going to try and start out here with the number 3 car of Adam Hilton. This is out of turn 2. I believe it's going to happen in turns 1 and 2 the next time through. So there's the blue, green, and white number 3 on the bottom side. He's running dead last at this point, and something's going to happen right there in turn 1. Davidson down the racetrack. They're going to make some contact, and Hilton is trying to get going. Here come the leaders, and he parks it on the bottom side, it looks like, and while I think that's a noble decision, unfortunately, you just can't do that because it brings out this caution flag for really no incident. Now, there may have been damage that wasn't quite rendered here on iRacing for our spectator view. That is a possibility, but if that was just parking it, while it may be a noble attempt, unfortunately, you just can't do that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there, Andrew. I mean, yeah, sure, it's proper to get out of the way of the race leaders, but obviously stopping on the racetrack is more of a hazard in the long run, and definitely the right move to get a yellow out when you got a car stopped like that. Unfortunate for Adam Hinton. That car, sponsored by Roar Logistics, had been a tough go in the heat race. Saw him get into contact there, and obviously it has happened once again for him. Tough break for him, and he'll probably not be coming back on the track, or if he does, he'll be several laps down.
Coming to our first restart of the evening. Halfway through, halfway to go. 25 up, 25 down. The 22 back up to the race lead. Albretta somehow snagged Susie, it looks like, by the line, or Susie chose the top by that firing order. I dare say Albretta got him. Now, side by side goes Susie, and that's the 97 of Higbee down on the bottom side. Teammates, couple of Frenchies in the mix in the top 5. Out of Quebec, Hebert and Plant working the bottom and top. And Hebert's going to get through to a top 3 right here. Suddenly, the bottom side, the place to be once more. 3 wide, 4 wide. They go, and Wenner gets tagged, and he's going to go around.
Oh, we got a bunch of cars getting involved in that one. Susie, you see him on your screen right now. Yellow flag's back out. Susie got involved in that. Wenner. Oh, and you got to be careful here. That was the pace truck. No biggie there, but tough break for Michael Wenner. He was running so well.
And he might lose a lap. The leaders just went by.
I think that we should be able to see
he's losing the lap.
They're not even going to score him back? Oh, that is such a tough break for Michael.
He might opt to pit right here for a faster period. They're thrown to the back. Now, they may not put him the lap down, but they're thrown to the back of the line. We'll see if he actually holds on to his lap or not. Sometimes things with the caution laps not counting are a bit interesting. We're watching the black and yellow 23 bottom side, and there's going to be a big checkup ahead of him here in a lap's time, Joe, and then he's just going to get tagged from behind. Watch Miller on the yellow 22.
Yeah, so we come out of turn 4 this time. Wenner in the black number 23 goes to the bottom side, the place to be for the moment. Brought it in a little quick, but Travis Miller was just all over his tail. Absolutely nothing Wenner could have done at that point, and that's so tough because we had talked about it before the race even started, or before the race had even really gotten going, at least, that Wenner was really going strong tonight, and it was really awesome to see him up front, especially after last week. I know last week was a tough race for Michael Wenner, involved in a few incidents there, but tough break for him. He's going to be back at the tail end of this field, and unfortunately just going to have to try to trek on and get to the end of this one.
And things are really going to get mixed up here, Joe. Up in the front, Susie down 2 spots in those, 2 laps we had under green flag conditions. Albretta holds on to the lead, but now look at Hebert. He's in 3rd. And Cody Higbee up alongside the front row for this restart. The gentleman, Maxime Plant, down to the bottom side of row 3 for this one. You see Thomas Richard up into the mix. The 2 3s for some reason confuse me every time I see them. We're off and away. Lap 28 coming at you.
Starting off lap 28 with Albretta way out front, Hebert down on the bottom side, which seems to be the place to be. Got up into 2nd place. You're on board with your race leader as we slide through 3 and 4. There's Kevin Hebert running in the runner-up spot at the moment. We come past the stripe again, so we got one more down. And as I say, we got one more down. We get a yellow flag again. This one, that is the number 99, Double H. 99. I think that was the car involved in the caution.
The Budweiser number 99, Hunter Holberg, going to be around on this restart. We'll see what happens to him. He's the 99, top of the screen. We actually need to grab him here. We're looking at Hackett. There is Holberg, top side 1 and 2. I'd imagine with DeRitter and Berger to the inside, there must be contact of some sort. It should happen here into 3, maybe. Oh, he gets in deep and gets into the Ritter and goes around on his own. Oh, and Corby, the Beef Daniels teammates, 3 teammates in one incident because then Miller piles in. So a bad turn 4 there for Beef Esports.
Yeah, you saw Corby slide in, nothing he could do with Holberg already in the way. And then obviously Travis Miller, same scenario for Mike Wenner. Just nothing they could do about it when they're already committed to making that corner. And that was an absolute send from Hunter. So, for that to not turn out super well, I think that's the risk you have to take to try to make positions up, especially when the track slicks out as much as it has. You can see it on your screen, how slicked out and shiny this track has become through the course of this race. What more could you expect from the big blocks on such a short track? But yeah, definitely the type of send you need if you want to make passes up, but it's a risky move, and I think Hunter would have known that going in.
Lap 30 now coming at you. Already was his tail of top 3. Yeah, Holberg got in deep, and you could tell the car didn't rotate because he was turning left as opposed to turning right to try and correct. Now Hebert down to the bottom side of Albretta. He will get there, but not quite moving Albretta off the bottom line just yet. Just staggered on a caution already. Boy. It
looked like Dan Sider might have gotten a little bit of contact in the middle of 1 and 2. I believe that was the 84 car that I saw on my screen at least. We'll check a replay here. I believe you're going to see this 84 machine go into the middle of the corner and just get a little bit overturned, and nothing more to it than a little bit.
Oh, he's going to get contact. Pereira got it. Yeah, so Pereira gets into the 84 of Hackett and the 84 of Sider. A couple of 84 cars in the same incident right there. And yeah, Pereira just got in deep.
Yeah, Pereira sent it in pretty quick. I think Hackett was coming on a little strong there too. So the contact might have been inevitable in the first place, but obviously the pressure from behind, and he got into Sider. I just barely saw Dan Sider sliding in the middle of the 2 turns when we got that restart. I wasn't quite sure if we were going to get a yellow out of it. Obviously we did, as we're going to be coming back to the restart here now, 60% of the way into this race. Yes, and they have switched to single file for this restart. So 20 laps to go, and they're restarting them single file. This should help us on the calamity we get out of this restart.
Single file restarts now coming to lap 31 if we get off and away cleanly, and it looks like we will for now. But Higbee already to the bottom side of Hebert off into 1. You see Hebert trying to protect the bottom as best as he can. His teammate Plant trying to go around the top as the 97 pokes down once more, has to get on the brake, get back out of it. Now they get single file on the bottom. Susie there as well. Plant and Higbee, the 79-97 side by side out of 4 into 1. And now Hebert switches up to kind of block his teammate a bit, get right in his lane.
I was going to say, contact! He hit the wall right there, Kevin Hebert did. I was going to say before that, it looked like Plant was the only person to trek up to the top side and see if that cushion was still usable, and it got him around Higbee, and as soon as Kevin saw that, Hebert just had to move up in front of that 79 to take the advantage from him. You see now 2 by 2 through 3 and 4. Albreda's got no trouble from behind as these teammates are all fighting each other rather than trying to catch up to him. Hebert leading the top side. For Higbee down low, Plant in 4th place. It looks like a yellow's coming out. I was going to say Susie was charging, but obviously the yellow's going to stop that trek.
Pachalski this time, going to be the source of our newest caution flag. Oh, and he's going to have contact from a car behind, it looks like. Down in turns 1 and 2, and Pachalski down on the bottom side. He checks up for Berger and Eisel going at it, and Haas going to get a run as a bit of over-rotation. It looks like it's going to happen the next time through, actually. This is into 3 and 4, and yeah, Haas just gets in deep, gets into the back of the 121. So we saw a very clean and green start here, Joe. Everybody minding their P's and Q's, but since we've had a few cautions, now of course Larry Mack on the asphalt side says cautions breed cautions, and they do, but it seems like these guys are starting to race a bit more. They've got some laps down, and they feel comfortable finally going at it with one another.
I would agree with that. I do also think that the track surface is a big part of why these guys are getting a little squirrely. This track surface being slick, obviously, it's the hardest that it's going to be to drive on, and you have to really be paying attention and hit all your marks to make sure you don't overspin that car or not get enough of an angle into the corner to make a run off of it. So being slicked out like this, I think it's really tough for these guys to manage the speed and momentum that these cars carry, and that would be why they're not quite able to put them where they want, and unfortunately get a little too close for comfort with their competitors and send some guys around as we get back to green flag racing. We're going to come past, start off lap 35 here with AJ Albreda leading the way. Higbee on the bottom. Hebert with a ton of momentum up top. Plant trying to follow with him. Put that 71 just momentarily into second place. Higbee on the bottom, got it back. I think we're going to see Hebert pull it through down the front stretch again, and he does.
Now lap 36 of 50. Susie bottom, Higbee bottom. The couple of Frenchy teammates up on the top side. Albreda just working on his own right now. Now Plant down to the bottom, squeezing the door of Susie all over the back end to Higbee. That's an interesting move out of Plant that time through. Richard going to join him up top. Beagle down on bottom as well. We got 2x2x2, 3 rows deep, looking like formation laps here at Lanier Raceplex. And those guys up top are all the way up top. Those guys on bottom are all the way down bottom, and they're crossing in between on the straightaways.
Yeah, we've kind of run out of racetracks, so those two extremities are really the only places that are going to be finding any grip at this moment in time. You see Higbee trying to lead the bottom. We're on board with Ryan Susie as he tries to find that small amount of grip. Or sorry, we're not on board with Ryan Susie. We're on board with Ryan Beagle as we get a yellow. And actually, Ryan Susie got hit by the pace car right there. I think that was an interesting thing to see right on your screen. But we'll get a yellow. We'll get a replay once we can acquire our replay of why we got this yellow.
I'll try and find out for you momentarily, as looks like it might involve Brian Berger, I dare say. The number 60. This is into 1 and 2. He's right on the top. He's got Eisel up there with him. Davidson, Miller on the bottom. Oh, Miller just comes up the racetrack, and oh, wow, what a hit, what a roll. Eisel gets a piece as well. Boy, that's a tough one.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate for Brian Berger. He was pretty consistent, pretty solid throughout this race. That Phase 3 racing machine, just nothing he could do about Travis Miller coming up the track like that in Turn 3. And obviously, Travis Miller wouldn't have wanted to wreck a competitor like that, but unfortunately, I think it's just kind of a situation. Just a tough break for Brian, because I don't think Travis would have wanted that, but obviously Travis kind of pulled up into him. No trouble. We come back to the green. And we're going to get this lap restarted on lap 39. Albreda leading the way. Somebody was like on the bottom off the restart here in front of these leaders. Hopefully that doesn't cause any calamity. Higbee's holding the bottom with second place. You see him on your screen slide up to the top.
Hebert's going to go around!
Oh, that's a ton of our race leaders. Wenner's involved. Plant's involved. Pachalski's involved. Upside down. Richard was involved. Susie was involved. I think that took out almost every car that we were seeing in that second through fifth place battle.
Lap 40 of 50 going to get halted as a ton of cars ran out. I just want to watch this from our turn 4 perspective, as everybody, it looks like, and their brother are going to be involved in this. This is going to be down the front stretch, and I believe it starts out with Higbee going around, was it? And everybody just piles in. I mean, there's nowhere to go when one of the leaders gets turned. Oh my gosh, I think it started with Hebert actually getting turned around. Susie up and onto his side. Cars rolling. I think that's Wenner down there. It looks like, was that Plant that went over on the bottom side? Oh my.
Yeah, I saw Plant flip it on the front stretch, and he actually got stuck. So he had to tow that car, because that 79 you see was just stuck on its side, and it wouldn't roll over for him to roll away from that caution. Yeah, that did start with Hebert up top with getting a little bit of a chop from Cody Higbee. Nothing more than you'd expect out of dirt racing itself, but Hebert had a bit of momentum he couldn't control at that very end of it, and obviously lost control of the machine in front of a whole slew of fast cars, and it just caught out a lot of guys. Robert Plant, Susie. I saw Mike Wenner in that, which was really tough, because that 23 car was charging back up through the field, and he's been really pushing to get into a better position than he was off of that incident that sent him all the way to the back of the lap down, and he was trying to get back up there, unfortunately caught up again.
So if you're just joining us, boy, what a doozy this has been here at Lanier. We've had some 7 cautions now this evening, and of course, caution laps don't count. That's why it says 2 laps, oddly enough. But it's been a fun one, despite the cautions coming up recently. We had a very green flag start. Now coming up to lap 41 on this restart, Higbee, well, he did not get a very good start behind Albreda, did he? Off into 1 and 2, and Beagle's all over the 97. Oh, Hebert's down there with him, the points leader, working for third.
I was going to mention, we didn't really talk about Ryan Beagle a whole lot being a factor in this race, but right now he's adopted third place, and he's putting pressure on Higbee for second even. Hebert not quite finding a way around him. You've got Hackett in the 84 on your screen, 484 in timing and scoring, rounding out your top five. Gruel in sixth spot, coming up to the front end of the field. Somebody was up in the wall on the top side. No trouble up there. I think we stay green for the moment. Albreda leading the way at the front end of this field. You're watching off of the tail of Ryan Beagle as he's got Hebert all over him, fighting to get into that final podium position. Albreda just protecting the bottom side with Higbee in behind him. They come through again. Ryan Beagle still running right behind that 97. Hebert, the first to venture up to the top side, try to find a little extra momentum. Doesn't quite help him through 1 and 2, and he's going to give up on that run through 3 and 4 this time.
You saw Beagle and Hebert kind of move through the middle. There they go, do it again. They're kind of running a little bit higher than Higbee down on the bottom side. Looks like they're just trying to find a little bit of extra speed, trying to stay up on the banking as opposed to getting down on the flat and turning it with the apron down on the very bottom side at the left front. So these guys definitely all searching around for grip. 50 laps with 20-some cars will do a number here at Lanier. We see that. And, of course, the 3 heats we had didn't help that cause either. Lap traffic might come into play.
Yeah, it might at the end of this one. We've only got a handful of laps to go, and Albreda leading pretty solidly over Higbee, but Higbee's definitely in position that if the lap traffic starts playing a factor, he will be able to take advantage of it, and I think Ryan Beagle even is in a spot where he could win this race, given that same situation. Only about 3 laps to go, though, so we're going to see maybe if Beagle can try to push it a little bit. You see how hard he is pushing it through 1 and 2 that time. Trying to get a run on Higbee, running a little bit different line, trying to maybe pull a little bit more momentum off of the corners. Albreda is just yapping that 97 car at the moment, though. No pressure from behind for him. He's running his line clean and smooth, as is Higbee, but unfortunately Higbee's not quite holding on to the momentum and speed he needs to keep it on the tail of that 22 on your screen, as we got a caution as we were about to get that one more lap to go, and I think that, I'm not quite sure who that caution was for, but that is absolutely stellar timing for this at the end of the race.
Not entirely sure who this one's going to come out for. I didn't see anyone slow when I checked timing and scoring here. And... well, here's Brian Berger. I don't know if this is the source of it. Oh, it is. Brian Berger just gets in the fence. Oh, and Plant gets a piece. Granted, I think Maxime Plant in the back of the field right now. Susie was back there as well. In fact, Susie was going to be that lap traffic we were talking about if the field had caught him before going yellow.
Yeah, but luckily for the leaders at least, Brian Berger got up into the wall and restricted that from happening. So that should really help the race leader, AJ Albreda, right now, that he shouldn't have a huge amount of pressure from Higbee, especially if we go back to green with a single file lineup. Obviously, Higbee's going to try his best right now, but I think that does help Albreda that he doesn't have to worry about the car in front of him being a lap car. He just has to worry about clean racetrack and trying to get that car around the track in time without giving Higbee a run to get that race lead.
It's lap 49 of 51, under caution. We'll start counting laps again as soon as we restart, this time by... so we are adding 1 lap, and of course if we get a yellow on this first lap out before we take the white flag, we'll extend it once more, but currently only extending by 3/8 of a mile. They fire off and away down the racetrack they go. Albreda trying to hang on to his race lead. Higbee is the only one in range to say anything about it for now. Down the backstretch, 1.5 laps to go. They're coming to the white flag, this time by Albreda. Would have won it right here if we were going to race distance. Adding 1 lap, the white flag is out. Still working the bottom. Beagle in behind. Cody Higbee, though, the only one that can say anything about it. Can he in 3 and 4? No, Higbee can't get there, and out of turn 4, Albreda is going to win his first race on the season.
A great race and a class running from AJ Albreda. Absolutely no trouble from behind. Cody Higbee's going to be coming home in second spot. Ryan Beagle going to be bringing the 84 machine in third place. Kevin Hebert, as you've seen, a nice little 360. Very well done by AJ Albreda on your screen. That was impressive stuff right there. Kevin Hebert and Michael Hackett round out the top 5. But yeah, great performance from AJ Albreda. Definitely no trouble for him. Had the class of the field, well-deserved victory here at Lanier.
In NASCAR, they call that the Logano Loop, and the 22 going to do it here at Lanier. And you know what? Joey Logano went down to Georgia. He went and raced a bunch of legends and bandoleros down at Atlanta Motor Speedway. So when we take our trip to Georgia here for the BRP iRacing series, fitting that a 22 car wins and does that little Logano loop that you've seen him adopt there in the NASCAR Cup Series when he wins races. We're going to step away as per usual as our post-race fashion. We'll be right back to you momentarily after a quick message from our partners. And don't go anywhere because post-race interview is one of the best parts of the evening just ahead.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Sound Art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it Sound Art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound Art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, Art never sounded so good.
Welcome back to the Lanier Raceplex, the dirt iteration thereof, and we're about to go over, kind of, Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta. It's kind of pixelated out there as it's not necessarily pertinent to the track textures here, but Joe, we just saw an amazing 50-lap event ending in a big win for Albretta. He got out front, never looked back, and we'll bring him in to talk to him now. AJ Albretta, how about that? 4 races in, you're a newcomer to the series, you go out there and get your first W.
This is awesome.
And you never looked back either. You didn't lead every single lap, but starting on pole, battling for the race win, only ever as low as second. You lead 29 laps, you get it done. How about those cautions at the end, trying to hang on to it?
Cautions were definitely scary. I knew 2 or 3 or 4 really good guys were coming after me for this win, and they wanted it just as bad as I did. So it was definitely nerve-wracking, trying to hit my marks every lap and trying to get the best restart I possibly could.
You got great restarts all night. I don't think there was ever a time that you went off into turn 1, contested off of a restart. The 22 comes home very clean. Who do you have to thank?
Oh man, I gotta thank my big brother, Rob Albretta, Snap-on Tools. 2 of my good friends were watching the stream tonight, Delaney and TJ, my dad, my mom. Just gotta thank everybody, really. Rob Albretta, Snap-on Tools, JRC Transportation, Dig Race Products, every sponsor that's on my car.
You got a great looking grayscale 22. How do you feel about Knoxville in a week's time?
Kind of nervous for that place. I'm usually hit or miss there, so hopefully I can get a good run.
Well, congratulations tonight, AJ. A big first win on the season. You got, what, I think 10 more shots to get it done again. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
That's AJ Albretta winning race number 4 on the season. Joe, a very excited driver of the number 22. Grayscale machine, as I called it there. And we'll roll right on down the line to one Cody Higbee in the number 97. He was always right there, but just couldn't quite get it done.
Yes, sir. We'll bring in Mr. Higbee. Cody, this is Joe Donahue with PitStop TV. Do you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, Cody. Well, you held on pretty well to second place there at the end. The track was pretty slicked out, and it didn't look like it quite get the run on Albretta. What was your move, and what was your intent to try to get around that 22 machine?
Yeah, I knew he was pretty fast up there all race, all night pretty much. He won his heat race and stuff, so I just really tried to get a good restart, and I felt like I had a good restart, just wasn't enough to get around him. And
you did have a lot of power under the hood, because we saw you fighting with Plant and Hebert throughout the course of this event too, to try to get yourself up into second place. How tough was that competition back when the track wasn't quite as slicked out for you, when the track had a little more grip in it and you had those cars fighting you every corner, every lap?
Yeah, that was really tough holding them guys back. They're pretty good, and it was all about not missing your line and just trying to keep them back and run clean, consistent laps. And felt like I was able to do that for the most part, but yeah.
And as for next week, when we go to Knoxville, Cody, we want to know what your expectation is and what your plan is for that race. Are you excited? Are you looking forward to it? Do you think it's going to be a highlight or a low point of your season at all?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I like Knoxville. Hopefully we can get another top 3.
All right, Cody. Well, we'll let you go, relax, unwind. But is there anybody you want to thank or anything you want to say here on the broadcast before we let you go?
No, I don't think so. But just thanks for everybody for watching, and tune in next week for Knoxville.
All right, Cody. Well, thank you very much for your time. Congratulations on coming home in the runner-up position. Obviously, everybody wants to win, but that's a stellar performance nonetheless. And we'll be seeing you, talking to you hopefully next week.
Yeah, see you next week.
And with that, we will send it back to Mr. Cardinale as we get to talk to the guy who charged up through the field a bit there at the very end, got into a pretty good spot. That's Ryan Beagle, and I'll hand it back to you, Andrew.
And it is but one of 3 84 cars in the field. His name sounds like, well, it is that of a breed of dog. He was one hungry dog this evening. Ryan Beagle, the 84, comes home P3. Oh, so close to battling higher up on the podium, but your first podium on the season.
Sorry. Yeah, we got kind of lucky there. Missed that big wreck, and just glad to be here.
They had hard challenges all night long, coming up from as low as 10th position where he started, but it was always a climb. It was never really a slide for that number 84, and I think that goes for the previous few races we've seen out of it. You've been on the climb ever since Volusia.
Yeah, we kind of struggled at Volusia. We had a decent run going at Limaland, and then I stepped on my manhood there and got into the wall and lost a bunch of spots. But last week at Eldora, we were all right and got lucky tonight. So.
And now looking forward to Knoxville and some other great racetracks on the season. How do you feel for this number 84 program? I mean, it's looking pretty good. You're moving up. Again, you're always, I feel like, putting yourself up in the front. Whether or not you always finish up there, I mean, things happen, but you've consistently been gaining a lot of speed.
Yeah, we're chipping away at it. This is a tough deal to run, and especially run up front with. I'm learning that quickly here, so just glad to be talking to you guys tonight.
Absolutely. Talking to us at the end of the night means you did something pretty darn good. Who do you have to thank for helping you out to do something pretty darn good tonight? Who do you have to shout out?
Yeah, just everybody that puts this deal on, and you guys for the broadcast, and everybody watching at home.
Absolutely, Ryan. We thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on 3rd place, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you a whole lot more the rest of the season.
Thanks, guys.
That's Ryan Beagle finishing up in the 3rd spot. Again, one of 3 84 cars in the field, Joe. All 3 finishing in the top 10 tonight. Let's take a look at our race results.
So we'll start off at the top of the grid. That 022 was the number 22 on track. The grayscale car, as Andrew mentioned, AJ Albreda brings it home in 1st place. 2nd place, that number 97, Cody Higbee. And in 3rd is Ryan Beagle in the 1st of the 84 machines. Bringing it in 4th spot, the 71 of Kevin Hebert. And rounding out your top 5 for this race was one of the 84 cars as well, Michael Hackett. Brandon Gruel pulled off a top 6. Pretty impressive to get that car back up into the fight. And behind him, Matt DeRitter in that number 03 machine comes home 7th. Double D, Dylan Davidson in the number 73 got 8th place at the end of this one. And that final 84 machine is Dan Sider in 9th. Rounding out the top 10, charging all the way back up to it, is the 121 of Tyler Pachalski.
Coming home 11th, Gavin Eisel in the 18. Travis Miller slides to 12th tonight. Richard Pereira, after making some contact with a couple of 84 cars down in turn 1, well, not quite as lucky as those 84s. He comes home in 13th. Brett Haas ends up 14th. Thomas Richards, so quick so far this season, but finishes all the way back in 15th spot, exactly 5 seconds behind AJ Albreda, the race winner. Randy the Big Show Giroux comes home 16th. Then it's Double H, Hunter Holberg in the double 9. Mike Wenner comes home 18th after just being used as a ping pong ball tonight. David DiPietro rather comes home 19th, and Ryan Susi, oh my gosh, you feel for him as well. Up front all the way through to that big pile up down the front stretch, I believe, and he gets thrown all the way to 20th spot.
Tough break for him as you look back into more of the guys who got some interesting results out of tonight. Dean Meitzler comes home in 21st. We saw him get it a little bit squirrely through the heat races. Maxime Plant in 22nd. Another tough break for that 79 car, like we said, was up front at the beginning and just got caught out in that crash. Ryan Berger brings home his number 60 machine in 23rd spot. And Mr. The Beef, Corby Daniels, 17 laps behind in 24th. Adam Hilton, the last car on the grid, in 25th, one of those guys who dropped out, and he did so when he had that stop on the racetrack.
25 cars run here at Lanier tonight, but only one could come home as the race winner. That was AJ Albreda, who adds his name to Lanier winners like Tommy Houston, Bobby Labonte, David Green from the NASCAR Busch Series in their short stint here. back in the late 80s, early 90s, and it was a good-looking 22 as well. Very good-looking win, kept that car very, very clean, as did, I think, the entire podium here tonight, Joe. Just a good race through and through. Even when we got held up by some yellows, it was still great racing.
Yeah, I was really impressed by how long we went into that race before we got any yellow flags at all. I mean, the track slicked out pretty quickly in the main, and these guys had to accommodate for that, but for a long time they really did an excellent job with it. And even with those yellows coming in and out, I thought the racing, at least at the front of the field, was doing a pretty good job of being exciting and reserved enough to not cause any major shakeups with the leaders. We did have the one catching out Maxime Plante and Kevin Hebert and et cetera, but elsewise, I thought these guys did a really good job, and it showed the preparation that they brought into this event.
It absolutely did, and I mean, I feel like these guys were the most ready for tonight than all season long, except for maybe Volusia. It seemed like these guys had practiced for Lanier and a very slick racetrack, and it is one of the free pieces of content on iRacing that might have something to do with it. I want to mention our partners again with the BRP iRacing series, Biffnell Racing Products, and very close up in the left rear of Ryan Beagle here as well. Rival Powder Coatings and Sandblasting, Matt DeRitter Designs, Butt Kicker, Jam Performance, and Miller's Auto Detailing as series partners here in the BRP iRacing series. And of course, a massive thank you to everybody who helps us out at PitStop TV. Tucson Sound Art, your picture, your music. You provide the image you want, and they will custom create a beautiful framed, high-quality canvas with a built-in Bluetooth speaker. With Sound Art, you get the best of both worlds. Visit TucsonSoundArt.com for additional info. Make sure to use promo code PitStopTV, all one word, all caps, at checkout to receive 10% off of your purchase today. And of course, ever wish you could have a race engineer on speed dial? Well, now you can, thanks to RacePace, a driver development service and setup shop all in one. Work with Tyler Campbell, a real-world race engineer, to step up your game before your next race. Pick up pace with RacePace. And this is one of my favorite kind of lines to read. RacePace is just genuinely a good place to go if you're looking to pick up speed on the roadside of iRacing. Tyler Campbell works day and night tirelessly to get setups made for all of his clients over at RacePace. You can check out their Discord server. There are some quality setups getting put out by RacePace, by Tyler mostly. He's putting together packets for drivers to learn racetracks. He'll do one-on-one coaching with you. He will make sure that if you're having any kind of trouble on the roadside of iRacing, you no longer have that trouble. He will get you helped out. He will get you sorted out. He will make sure you're fast before, the 12 hours of Bathurst coming up at the end of this month. That's important. We also have, of course, Permanent Makeup in Cryo in Maine to thank, and when it comes to your appearance, Joe, you deserve the best care that money can buy. Why not take that money to Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, where the owner, Ashley Bollier, is a certified micropigmentation specialist who provides professional, safe, and personalized services. Call or text them at 207-358-8683. You can find them also on the World Wide Web at www.permanentmakeupinmaine.com, or even on Facebook or Instagram, Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine. And of course, as always, a massive thank you to Whiplash Media, all of our design and camera needs taken up by whiplash-media.com. Also getting into some real-world stuff, got some photography, social media management, and public relations going on. And man, I'll tell you what, the pictures Trey Shuttlesworth takes both on the sim and in real life look great, and very happy to have him with Whiplash Media, and very happy to have Whiplash Media on all of our PitStop TV broadcasts. As all good things, our broadcast tonight does have to come to an end, though, and that concludes our coverage of the BRP iRacing Series Big Block Modified Tour at Lanier Raceplex. We at PitStop TV thank you for tuning in and joining us for tonight's action, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. Be sure to join us again at 10 p.m. Eastern. A bit of an early end for us here tonight, so you have some 38 minutes to get ready for that one, when the Pacific Challenge GT3 Series heads out to Autodromo Internazionale Enzo Edino Ferrari, also known as Imola. And that's going to be a very fun 60 minutes of racing. Eric Brennan and Trey Shuttlesworth on the call. Pulling double duty tonight is Trey Shuttlesworth. Rory Kexford will... I I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I did that, Joe. Corey Rexford taking over our social media duties there for the Pacific Challenge GT3 series. Then Tuesday, tomorrow night, the Operation E Motorsport iRacing League will take us to Road America. We'll be having a guest interview there with John Ewert tomorrow night as well. Wednesday night, we've got the Bluegrass iRacing Series at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and finally we end the week at Sonoma Raceway with the LTAC Cup Series. Make sure to follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/PitStop TV, over on Twitter at PitStop TV _, on Twitch at www.twitch.tv/pit_stop_TV, and on YouTube at www.youtube.com/c/PitStop TV1. For all of PitStop TV, now I promise I'm going to get these names right, I'm not going to get dyslexic here. Joe Donahue with me on the mic, Trey Shuttlesworth with us on social media. I'm Andrew Cardinale IV. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next time, hopefully in just 36 minutes at Imola.
Sound art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it sound art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.